Combined with her clear lack of hiking skill, and this is by no means to disrespect her, it's really, really crucial as a tourist that if you choose to do a hike.
Só que faltava sem eu. Bang saya, mau ke Brazil, mar, desang ke Amazon, barang bang.
Pada waktu itu, jagat maya Indonesia dan Brasil dikejutkan oleh kabar duka wafatnya Juliana, turis asal Brasil saat mendaki Gunung Rinjani. Peristiwa ini memicu reaksi luas di publik media sosial. Banyak netizen Brasil menuding Indonesia lambat dalam penyelamatan. Tak sedikit pula netizen Indonesia yang membalas dengan nada keras. Perdebatan pun memanas, bahkan disertai kata-kata kasar. Tapi, penting disadari bahwa tragedi ini tidak diinginkan siapapun. Indonesia menghargai wisatawan, namun setiap pendaki juga wajib memahami risiko alam. Di tengah komentar yang beragam, suara paling valid datang dari mereka yang pernah mendaki langsung jalur Gunung Rinjani.
A Brazilian tourist has fallen off Mount Rinjani at like 5 a.m. and honestly the news has like sent shivers down my spine because me and Gaz did that hike. I think it was summer last year.
Mental, wasn't it? It was like next level dangerous. I swear there was like hundreds of people doing it and like we turned around because we didn't feel safe.
Yeah.
Loads of people were like, what are you doing? Just keep going. And it was like so windy on top of the ridge.
It was so cold. It was like the coldest. I felt like I couldn't think straight because I was so cold. Obviously the altitude, like no one even talks about altitude sickness with that hike. You're so high up. It's like 3,500 meters above sea level. Like the altitude, the cold. You've already hiked, 7 hours the day before and you get up at 1 a.m. to do the summit hike, which is another 4 hours up a steep incline in the dark. No one's thinking clearly.
I think if you're a professional climber, you're probably listening to this and be like, oh yeah, that's normal. It is normal for professional climbers, but this was essentially just like a load of backpackers and tourists wearing trainers doing it.
Yeah, and I think like when we did it, we were like, why is there not more information out there saying like how hard it is? Because all you ever see online is just all these people summiting Mount Rinjani. So when we watched all of these videos on YouTube and we did our research, we were like, they look like us, we'll give it a go. And then obviously it puts your life at risk when you do stuff like that because you don't realise how dangerous it is. There should be more.
Goes to show though, if when you're backpacking, if you don't feel comfortable doing something, just turn around and don't do it because yeah, the safety's not always there, is it?
No, it's just so scary. I feel like, I just really hope she's found safe and like thoughts with her family because when I saw that I just felt sick. I just knew exactly what it would be like to fall down. Just a horrible, horrible news story. And if you're watching this and think about doing Mount Rinjani, only if you're an experienced climber should you be doing it really. Like don't do what we did and think, how hard can it be? Just take the risks into account and yeah.
Seorang turis yang cukup lama menetap di Indonesia juga ikut angkat suara, menyampaikan pendapatnya dengan penuh emosional.
The tragedy that happened on Rinjani and the woman from Brazil, Juliana, who passed away because she fell into, I believe, the crater or where all of the sand is on the top, all of the volcanic sand, and she wasn't able to be retrieved. And there's a lot of blame being put on the rescue team without considering the circumstances of Rinjani and the terrain and the difficulty of completing a rescue mission on an active volcano. And how nearly impossible that can be. Combined with her clear lack of hiking skill, and this is by no means to disrespect her, it's really, really crucial as a tourist that if you choose to do a hike, even if people complain the tour guides all they want and they say, oh, but everywhere in Lombok and everywhere in Indonesia, you see advertisements, hike Rinjani, hike Rinjani, hike Rinjani. But it's your job to research things yourself. You cannot rely on a guide company who's trying to make a living to tell you if you're fit to do something or not. They don't know you. They don't know your life experience. They don't know your skill level. Could they be asking more questions to better vet people to decide if they should be allowed to go up Rinjani? Sure. Absolutely. But you shouldn't hike an active volcano if you're not an experienced hiker. I've lived in Indo for 6 years. I've been invited by people to hike Rinjani many times. I won't do it because I'm not a hiker. I struggle going up to a small peak. I don't really enjoy hiking. It's not something I've like tried to excel at and succeed with in my life. And when I saw how slippery it is towards the peak of Rinjani due to the sand, like I know myself and I know how clumsy I am, and I know I would roll down that shit and you would never find me again. And that's just reality. So yes, there does need to be probably a regulation change in who is allowed to hike these places. But what happened to individual responsibility for our own choices and actions, and also recognizing risk? Because most of the time, if you do any high risk activity anywhere in the world, especially in the Western world, if that's what we're talking about, Western standards, you're going to have to sign something that says that they're not responsible for your life. You are. You are responsible for your life. And people saying, well, she was left behind and this, that. If you're choosing to hike in a group, there's probably an option to get a private guide for a higher price point or to get a group guide, right? If you know that you are not an experienced hiker and you really want to go up Rinjani, then you should probably hire a private guide and not join a hiking group of people who probably have a pretty decent level of hiking experience and are able to complete the summit. If you hire a private guide and you need to take a rest, your guide can stand by you. But what is the guide supposed to do if they have, let's say, a group of 5 or 10 people and one person isn't feeling well? You either have to push through and stick with the group or you get left behind. And I know they say you're not supposed to leave anybody behind on a hike, but you're also not supposed to hike if you're not prepared to hike. That's just how hiking works. I saw that her family was they were shocked that Rinjani wasn't closed down because of their daughter's passing. And while I have so much respect for their grief and what they're probably experiencing and the shock they're going through right now, that's unfair to close an entire mountain down because of one person's irresponsibility. That's not fair. That's people's livelihood. And it's a beautiful place that a lot of people come to Indonesia just for that. And now maybe they've trained for it for a really long time. Maybe they spend a long time summiting smaller peaks to prepare for that hike. And now they're supposed to close it down because of one person's irresponsibility. And once again, I don't want to disrespect her in any way, but we need to use this opportunity to really take a moment to anywhere in the world and any activity that you're doing when you're on holiday, consider your skill level. I see it all the time with surfing. My partner has a surf school here in Bali, and he's very, very, very adamant that if people don't have a high skill level in swimming, or if they have fears around the ocean, they need to book a private lesson. Because people will want to be cheap and save $200K and book a group, and then they're miserable and they can't get back to the lineup and they're flapping around and freaking out. Is that the coach's fault? No! It's your fault for being cheap. Active volcanoes are not photo ops. In general. There was an instance just a few months back, I think it was Agung. Somebody died on Agung because they tried to go up without a guide, probably trying to save money, and they died. And then Balinese people had to have so much ceremony, bring so much bantan, do so many offerings, because somebody irresponsibly died on their sacred mountain. Accountability matters. It's extremely cloudy up there. If we're coming back to Rinjani, to cycle back to it one more time, it's extremely cloudy, very hard to send helicopters in. Nobody can go down that to retrieve somebody. If they send a rope down, there's no way for them to grip in because they're on sand. There's so many circumstances. So to repetitively disrespect the extremely skilled team that tried to rescue her is not necessary to honor her life. We mustn't blame people who have trained their entire lives for this. Indonesian hikers don't play games. So for you to act like they don't have the skill set and in this country they can do this and in this country they can do that, then you don't know Indonesian hikers. They're extremely good at their craft and they're very, 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 very skilled at mountaineering. I mean, Indonesian hikers will hike in flip-flops and live off of pot meat. And not to say that that's the way that you should hike, but I'm saying don't act like they don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Pernyataan mereka memberi perspektif yang lebih utuh dan objektif, bahwa mendaki gunung bukanlah hal sepele dan penuh risiko. Tragedi ini seharusnya menjadi pengingat bagi semua pihak, agar keselamatan dan persiapan tak pernah dianggap remeh.